Hello everyone and welcome to episode 3 of Pokemon Yellow. In the last part we got up here to Cerulean City, and I actually forgot to save in between, save state in between episodes, and when I loaded into the old state expecting to be here, I was back before Viridian Forest, so I actually had to get back to this point, which I actually gained a couple of different levels along the way, so that's why my party's levels was a bit different. In fact, up to the point where I think Zex has 5 levels more than he used to. And we ran into Blue. And this is, unlike the last one where we fight in Viridian City, this one is mandatory. And why is my mouse cursor always on the screen? I always forget to take that off. Anyway, he starts off with this Spearow level 18, which is quite a few levels higher than it starts out with. It's the point where my Spearow pretty much gets one-hit KO. No, two-hit KO'd. At one point, actually, when I first played Fire Red, because I was probably, I'm not alone in this. I was always that person that leveled up only my starter, so Zex would be like level 30 by this point. If I were still playing my old style, I remember always having trouble with this and not in Fire Red because I was also that guy who ran away from every battle. So I'd have like a level 17 starter, or not? Wait, maybe even level 15. Usually my starter would not be evolved by this point, I can say that much. And that ended up biting me in the ass in this fight, especially considering I forget if he does have a I forget if he has a Sandshrew in I think he has a Sandshrew in Fire Red Leaf Green. To the point where, since I always chose Charmander, I'd always get my ass kicked here. But luckily, since I'm much better of a gamer, I can do this. Then again, that probably happens to all of us now, doesn't it? Actually, this is also going to be this is going to be the last battle we're actually going to see him with the Rattata in it, but I'll get into why that is later via fan theories. But overall, this is actually a rather easy battle, even in Yellow, no matter what, considering Electric type, he doesn't, except for the Sandshrew, he doesn't have anything that can really hurt you that badly. Because the Sandshrew, if you're only using the Pikachu, you're going to be screwed unless you have Quick Attack or something Pikachu will learn at a slightly higher level Slam, even though I think he has it by this point. I need to check out my attacks. Yes, he has it by this point. But actually, you'll see this later on, but there's actually a possibility of 3 different paths Blue can take. And there's not really much different to the path except for what evolution is Eevee will get. It has to do with the combination of what you win and lose the battles in. Since I've won both, he'll have a Jolteon, which actually is not that good considering he's the hardest to take down. And if you win one or lose the other, you'll either get a Vaporeon or Flareon, depending on which order they were in. Pokemon Store System, I haven't even used it yet. Even though there will be a Pokemon in there fairly soon, because Rocky's not going to be with us for much longer. By the end of the next part, in fact, he might be gone. Oh wait, I give it 2 parts, actually. And this is where we get the Bulbasaur, because in Yellow you don't have to pick from any of the starters, you get them all if you know what to do. But your Pikachu's happiness has to be at a certain point for this to work. So this will be Cam's iteration for the Gen 1. Although if I ever do Emerald, I wonder if Cam will be in that. Probably a Ludicolo. And now it's time for us to head up to this point. I had to heal and get the Bulbasaur because I forgot to do it first off. And this is Nugget Bridge. Remember Nugget Road and Crystal? This is pretty much the same deal. Except you can't avoid any of these guys as far as I know, unless you hack into the areas on the sides. Now, I was planning on catching a Pokemon coming up here, but then I remembered I was playing Yellow, and I can't catch that Pokemon until well, considering I already played Crystal, it's not really spoiling what towns I'm gonna come up to until around Lavender Town. Oh, great, a Team Rocket member. Nope, nope, nope. In fact, wasn't there a rumor at one point that you could join Team Rocket? I know you do that in the manga, but I think for Red and Blue there was a rumor that you could join Team Rocket by doing something and steal Misty's Staryu or something along those lines. Anyway, it's time to get the third starter, the second starter. It's time to get Charmander, my personal favorite of the three. In fact, I'll be getting the next one. I was trying to get the third one this part, but Pikachu's happiness wasn't high enough at that point. And Charmander will be Abe. A lot of TMs, but I don't know what they are at this point. No, I'm actually going to be editing out, but I'm going to be training all my Pokemon up to level 20, so let's get to that. And along the way, 3 evolutions happened. First off, Pat evolved from a Spearow into a Fearow. Now, Fearow, while it's one less evolution than Pidgey can get, is still better in attack-wise. At level 16, Cam evolved into his Ivysaur form. Not really much to talk about there. It's pretty much just a boost in stats at this point, as far as I'm concerned. And Abe evolved into a Charmeleon. And now we're back here. So everyone's now at level 20, I believe. They should be. In fact, I think I checked the menu. Yes, I do. So yeah, the only one not at level 20 is Zex, and that's only because he's a bit higher leveled. Due to the fact, at certain points my Pokemon did faint when I was grinding, but I ended up defeating them with Zex, so he got the experience from those guys. I ended up fighting these guys off screen just to get the experience from them early, so that's why none of them were actually trying to challenge me. I see no Bill here. All I see is, I think that's a Rhyhorn? No, it's a Rhydon. And it can talk. Yeah, this is Bill. Somehow, well, first off, this is supposed to be a Clefairy he mixed himself with, although it's a Rattata in the manga. And he somehow infused himself with the Pokemon using this teleporter system. Which I think is supposed to be a reference to the ability to trade using a link cable, but I'm not too sure. And now we're separating him from the Clefairy, although, well, we see Bill come out, that much is for sure. In fact, I have him right now, but what happened to the Clefairy? And wow, Pikachu was really shocked by that. Oh, that's right, I forgot to give Bill pretty much like a Southern US accent, don't they? I forget what he's. I know he's in the anime. I don't remember what he's like though. I know he's like in a big mansion. There's a gigantic Dragonites. A lot of the early season anime I don't really remember, even though the early seasons are the only good ones. It stopped being good to me once they hit Hoenn. Now, I tried to check this because I remember trying to check that and I can get the 3 evolutions in there, but it wasn't working for me. So now that we're done up here, we got the SS ticket, which is mandatory. You have to get that. It's kind of like the magnet beam, except they actually tell you about this one. Sorry, I don't think you can progress, yeah, you can't progress unless you get that, but at least you aren't. At this point, you can't head back to Pewter City because of a one-way ledge like that, actually, that we just jumped over. So at least, unlike the magnet beam, it's a lot easier to find. It's smaller in scale. And now we're heading off to the Cerulean Gym, which is the water-themed gym. Yeah, thanks to Cam and Zex, I utterly destroyed this place. And now it's time to challenge Misty. And one thing I forgot to mention, considering, well, I think it happens for all the gym leaders, but they all get their anime counterpart sprites for this. In the original, they look a bit different. I wouldn't remember though, because it's been forever since I played red, blue, or green. This is, if you're playing yellow, this should be a very easy fight. However, if you're playing red, I will say that if you're playing fire red, leaf green, or red, blue, green, the first two gym leaders can be a bit of a pain if you chose Charmander, because water is strong against rock type, but it's neutral against itself. But grass is strong against both rock and water type, so Bulbasaur has the easiest time with the first two gyms, but after that it's pretty much smooth sailing, because aside from the fire gym later on, they're all pretty much weak. Well, fire and ground gym, actually. They're pretty easy because of the fire type strength pool. Actually, one thing that I always found odd about the anime, now that I'm looking at this, is that in the anime, Misty of course has the Starmie and Staryu, but even though Starmie is a much better Pokemon altogether, she ends up using the Staryu more often. Then again, the anime really plays with the rules quite a bit, considering in the first movie, Pikachu takes down a Golem, a rock ground type, with an electric type attack, which does not work. Durr! The anime, god, the movies make me so angry. Although in the recent movies, the animation is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, that's right, I watched the movies. Only for the animation, though. It's not good in terms of plot. And with that, we're pretty much done here in Cerulean for now. We might, well, there's that cave right there, which you just saw the guy standing in front of, which we'll go to after the game is over. In fact, we'll go there in the final parts, but that's not for a while. And by feeding this rocket, we get TM28, which I think is Dig. I don't really remember the TM numbers by heart whatsoever. And with that, actually, down here, I don't really show it off, but if you go down those ledges to the left, there will be a house that you can't really see. But that's the daycare center. That place will you can store your Pokemon there. And the more steps you take, for every step you'll take, they'll gain some experience. So if you have a Pokemon in your team that you really want to use for the end game, like put a Dratini in there right around this point in the game, if you can somehow hack one in, keep it in there and pretty much do the entirety of the rest of the game until the point where you would really need it. You would go back there and it probably would have gained quite a bit of levels, actually. But keep in mind, the more experience it gains, the more expensive it is to get out. At one point I did store I think it was a Larvitar in there in Gen 4. Well, it wasn't in, it was, which game was it? Oh, that's it, it was, Gen 3, I stored a Larvitar in the daycare center, but after well, I'll be honest, I forget, where do I find the Larvitars in Gen 3? I forget, but I found one somewhere, I forget if I hacked it in or not. I put it in at the first opportunity I could, and I went back at the end of the game, it was like level 60. And I spent far too much time on that. Welcome to the Vermilion City, blah 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 blah. You can get a Squirtle here, but your happiness for Pikachu needs to be maxed out. You're at the Pokemon fan club, you don't get a rare candy this time around, you get a bike ticket, which we can take back to Cerulean to get the bike, but I don't know if I'm going to be using the bike in this, to be honest. You walk fast enough on your own. I really hope I haven't been talking that fast. And with that, well, for one thing, you can't progress to the gym, you need to head over to the SSN. Wait, I just remembered, you can technically get back to Pewter City, but you need to do one other thing first, which is the SSN, actually. So let's head on down to the SSN, shall we? However, we're going to be showing that off in the next episode. Thank you guys for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And next time on Pokemon Yellow, we'll be heading through the SS Sand. See you guys then.